I think I'll cut what he says and just saying something like, not so bluntly, but something like, shouldn't you welcome us with tea and food before asking business?
Well,
this is something like, yeah.
That is a bit of a faux pas. And he says, well, you've come at a very, I'm so sorry. Guests should never suffer just because of our concerns. So I will entertain your young lord in my quarters and his assistant. And you can stay here with my two with Takade and Tadaka. You can stay here and please be our guest. But I see that your young man here has some business to discuss with me. I will, of course, extend to them all courtesies, and you may rest with my retainers as well. And once I rustle up the servants, you'll have the welcome that you so deserve.
Okay. And, my point is to cut what Azatari said, and by showing... Okay, I may say this explicitly, actually. Say, are you going to do business with the Ronin before you welcome me properly? Is it what you're doing right now?
Oh, well, he says, I assume that this young samurai is the leader, or you serve him. So I was going to speak to him lord to lord, and his Ronin is just his employee. I want to speak to him, and he will take his employee with him. I'm not going to tell him which retainer he's allowed to take in him. And I will say this, Tsuzawa is sort of whispering over to Kobe. Looks like he wants to cut you out too. Like he's sort of agreeing, he's like, yeah, let's the two of us take care of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said what I wanted. I just want to see the other's reaction. What is going to do? I'm just saying nothing more right now. I'm just looking at them.
Well, Ichiyama is
the right answer,
Ichiyama says, our two masters will discuss with their servants, myself and this Ronin, and I assure you, you will be entertained while we take care of our business. And he starts motioning the men out.
Okay.
So they're leaving, and you're there with Tadaka and Takade. And they say, we're so sorry here. And they take a little, clay cup and say, please. And as if they were offering you nicely prepared tea, they offer you this ceramic cup full of hooch.
I think I'm sniffing the tea before.
It's not tea, Greg.
It's not
yes.
tea. It's a rice wine of a very low grade.
And I just put it back on the table.
It's lighter fluid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Right? So things are going well, and two servants, it's like their uniforms. They were given nice uniforms, have gone a little shabby. Very silently, they walk in quickly as they can to get some food and some tea together. And you're sitting there and enjoying the food, and that's the moment you feel a tap on your shoulder. And there's no one else in the room with you.
Wait.
So I'm going to leave you with that for a bit.
So and the other are still in the room. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not alone in the room.
No, you're not.
Okay.
The two guards, the servants have left after they prepared the food, and everyone's just relaxing a bit, and there's going to be some nice conviviality. And then on your shoulder, you feel a tap, and there's no one else in the room with you.
Okay.
Can you imagine that weird situation?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. Boom. So simultaneously with this weirdness, we have an interaction with the village headman. And he's saying, so, we've sorted out what happened with the, I told you about the guests, and is there anything else you need to know about our village?
Okay, I'm handling this all very very formally and very appropriately. And so the language that my character uses may be extremely oblique compared to me trying to communicate it.
Right.
But translating it therefore into gender appropriate and age appropriate terms, basically I'm going to say, I regret to inform you that you have serious spiritual damage going on here, if not outright pollution. That I am merely traveling for purposes that I actually don't approve of, in the hopes of bringing some harmony, some rebalance to certain problems. But I had never expected to find such a thing as a village haunted by an apparition who spoke in words that indicated great harms and great suffering. And I ask you directly, and then I'll look up actually after all this oblique talk, and I'll say, ask him directly, what has happened to the Shinto who came before, or who were here before? Why have they suffered? What happens to the kami here? Who has angered them? These are matters of deep, deep significance for you people.
He says, basically, I'm trying to think of what he's going to say. Just give me a second.
Sure,
He says,
I sympathize. It's good.
even though our master proclaims his adherence to the gods of this island, his behavior has driven away the very people who could serve the spirits that live about here. And I mean, it's somewhat peculiar or ironic, but some of them really objected to the way he treated the Buddhist monk who visited us 3 years ago. So it's very strange that they took great offense at the way this monk was treated.
Well, even Buddhist monks, I say, in case we all need reminding of this once in a while, Buddhist monks are people too.
It's
not always evident, but we're lay that on the table.
It was very. I think they established or there was some sort of funny connection, a bit of silliness that sort of broke the ice between them, because his parents when he was young thought he was destined for a spiritual calling. They just didn't think it would be Buddhism, so they named him Goguji. They saw this sort of spiritual aura around him, and they gave him that archaic title for a Shinto priest.
You're saying this fellow was a native of the village?
No. He came to visit us, and he got snowed in with us, and so he spent several months with us, and I spent a lot of time with him, learning as much as I could. But again, he says you might not have noticed that platform out there, but that's a gibbet where people were hanged and their bodies displayed in cages.
Is that what happened to him?
That is what happened to him, yes.
And then 6 months ago is when the guests were at the castle who have never been seen again. Correct? Did I have that correct? Or a year ago?
That is correct. That is correct. Our lords said that they rescued these people from a caravan being robbed. They were a tall lady and 2 servants and a doctor of very impressive mane appearance. They were taken as guests at the
Did
castle.
the tall woman carry a nodachi?
Yeah, she was of great samurai class, and she bore it very proudly as a relic. It had something to do with
What is this fellow's name?
The
The
headman.
Mhm. Sorry to make you look it up, but I have to.
No. I should remember. A lot of T names. Tanabe.
I didn't hear a T.
Tanabe.
Oh, Tanabe. Right. Okay.
I did not articulate it properly.
That's all right. Okay.
And at this point, the floodgates break, and he tells you this horrible story about a fight between the monk and the Lord. And the Lord took great offense that this Buddhist was going around calling himself, it's like me going around saying Pope Eric, you know, or Bishop Weisengruber in front of, a very pious Catholic. And he just, apparently the monk offended him so much that he saw no recourse but to do what our betters are allowed to do when they're offended.
So this is the same Lord who's the daimyo, or the Lord right here, right now.
Lord Kumo, yes.
Kumo, okay. Tanabe-san.
Yes.
However politely, that I'm going to use the politest term in feudal Japanese that is known to man for saying, cut the shit.
Well, at this point, he's yeah.
No, I have specifics. I mean, I'm pleased with the flood of information, but it is never ending, and I am not interested in every peccadillo of this town. He's going to start telling me who stole donkeys next. Listen.
Yeah. Well,
wait. I'm saying.
Yeah.
The wrath of the kami is great. Mountain, Kameyama will, when their patience is exhausted, will shrug, and the shrug will bring down this mountain and drain this lake, and the suffering and the misery of the people here, which is evident upon even the first glance, will be ended, because they will be themselves ended. There are ferocious beings who themselves will descend upon this place. And if your Lord is not, we all depend on all of us in our proper places and doing the proper things. I will placate the relevant kami of this village. I seek to resolve this apparition, which speaks to this being, this woman speaks to everybody who comes to this town. Do I understand that correctly? Appears to everyone?
So few people come, but not everyone, no.
Well, this is, you are perpetuating the harm.
Okay.
And I cannot condone it. And here I am, right? All 90 pounds of Gin, all 9 hit points ever, right? Is saying very, lowers my eyes, bows very respectfully, and informs him that his ass is grass if he does not freaking give me every possible support by the people of this village to set things right with the kami now.
Okay.
Like at dawn, I'm going off to the running water, right?
Okay.
We got blessings to do. We got shit to do. I mean, this is insane.
Okay. He's going to respond to that with a question that I think you're going to have to think about the answer to. So just let me throw it. He says, you are right, but our biggest problem is this. The monk was never buried. How are we supposed to undo that terrible sin, which might be responsible for this. Did you hear that?
Oh, I sure did.
Can I give you time to think? Or do you
No,
have a
no.
comeback?
I'm not even going to move. The same position. I'm in exactly the same position. And I cannot help but smile and say, easily resolved.
Okay. Well, it's at that moment I would suppose that maybe we can get Dave coming in. He'll come in and see what's up with you folks. So
Okay.
you enter a room electric with tension and restrained emotion and a very agitated headman.
I'm calm, calmer than you are, to quote Walter. Right.
Do you want to bust something out right now, Dave? Or
Yeah, I think I am, but I'm gonna approach like in the very lowest posture possible, and I'm going to request in the most polite manner possible of the headman that I require a favor.
oh, uh, yes, friend of Gin. What's the favor?
Is there somebody in this village that is skilled at calligraphy?
We there's a fellow who makes burial stones and carves other things that need to be decorated. He points to where his house is.
Okay. With that information, I mean, I will stay and kind of go in the corner and I'm going to see what's going to happen, but I'm going to just try to be invisible at this point.
Perfect timing. I will say there is a source of pollution, and I don't know exactly how you're supposed to say it. I cannot say dead body. I cannot say corpse. Yeah. I cannot say any of those words. Who needs a headstone and a burial? So there is a source of pollution who needs a burial and a headstone. And I would and I would say, and the service to this community would be so vast that I'm certain any favors coming to you would be well earned. And the next step is that we cannot sleep in a place. Right, I'm making it quite clear to you, Rokuro. We cannot sleep in such a place. So everything you thought about the nice warm bed coming up, forget it.
Okay.
And says, Tanabe-san will make it apparent to you where the source of pollution is, and I am certain that when I begin my blessings tomorrow morning, that this particular obstacle will be solved. The engraver that you just spoke of course, will provide the necessary marker.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm at with this. So yeah, you're getting the message. We've been talking about something kind of important, and there's some kind of dead guy, and you got to get him. That's
I say I just like I
this is like
put out of your mind. Yeah. Put out of your mind. By tonight, the source of pollution will be removed.
Okay.
Intended to properly.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah.